This is actually insane. Calgary Flames trade rumors are once again heating up, and it has nothing to do with Rasmus Andersson, but rather Nazem Kadri. Since we know Toronto is out of the question, Naz has been linked to multiple other teams, and a deal could actually make sense. We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and let's hop in, talk about these rumors, and talk about how it's not Toronto. Ever since, the summer kind of hit and we hit July 1st, for whatever reason, the Nazem Kadri trade rumors have escalated like crazy, especially being linked to Toronto so many times. And as we know, Toronto is kind of the hockey media hub of the world, and it's a lot of Toronto writers writing these articles, these trade proposals, and just none of them make sense. So we kind of know Toronto's out of, the realm of possibility for a trade for Nazem Kadri. Even Kadri himself said, I don't know why my name is in the rumor mill, but that's just how it is in Canada. That's how it is in Toronto. And he kind of knows he's not going to go there and doesn't really want to go there. And we have a wonderful article to take a look at here from Cody Zowski from the Hockey Writers. All credit due to him for writing this one, but he writes 3 non-Maple Leafs trade destinations for Flames' Nazem Kadri. So over the past few days, Kadri's name has been brought up in several trade rumors around the NHL, primarily involving a deal sending him back to the Toronto Maple Leafs to serve as their second-line center. Fans and rumor mills have added to the speculation, even though insiders have debunked it thoroughly, and so honestly have fans. So we know, honestly, Toronto just doesn't make sense. When it comes to Kadri, the Maple Leafs would be poor trade partners after sending Marner to the Golden Knights for Nicholas Roy. They have no shortage of centers, not to mention a complete lack of assets the Flames would want at this stage in the rebuild, and a speculated rift between the Flames front office and Maple Leafs general manager Brad Treliving. Is that true? I don't know. It's a speculated rift. I don't know how realistic that is, but you never know. It could be possible. That's not to say that Kadri wouldn't be a big potential trade chip for the Flames, though, even if it's not Toronto. Here are 3 possible trades that make sense for everyone involved, not just fans who want an old player back. So with that being said, let's get into these destinations. And I gotta be honest, they're kind of juicy, and I really want to know what you guys think. As Flames fans, would you do any of these trades? I think this is written from just a hockey writer, not necessarily a Flames writer, so it's a little bit unbiased. But let's get into the first one here that includes Philly. So Kadri to the Flyers, just in exchange for a 2026 first-round pick. What do you think Kadri's value is? Is it just a first-round pick or is it more? Let's get into it. The Philadelphia Flyers want top 6 centers more than any other team in the league. Maybe than us, I would say. While their depth chart boasts the likes of Zegras, Noah Cates, and Sean Couturier, both Cates and Couturier are career third-line or defensive centers, and Zegras has played more wing than center over the past several seasons, making him potentially a poor fit at that position. Enter Kadri, a natural center who still drives play and produces points even at his age. His veteran presence would help guide a younger generation of players through a rebuild, part of the reason he's still on the Flames right now, and his edge and grit would complement a player like Konechny or Michkov excellently. Yes, that could make sense for him there. But in return, the Flyers aren't projected to do very well in the standings this season or anytime soon. So if Kadri doesn't meaningfully move the needle, then the Flames could be asking for a touted prospect in what projects to be a strong 2026 draft. Even if he does, moving a few picks down the ranking would still add to their cabinet of prospects. Honestly, I don't see a world where the Flyers want Kadri just because they are more committed to a tank, and he can make them a little bit better and push them towards a playoff push, as we just saw as he carried the Flames offense last season to nearly making the playoffs. And would the Flyers want to give away their first round pick? I really don't think so. I mean, it's a decent trade proposal here. I just don't see, why the Flyers would want to do it necessarily. And maybe the Flames want more than just a first round pick for Kadri anyway. So it's interesting. I just don't think it's all that likely. But again, feel free to let me know down below. Next one here is honestly kind of this is the most insane one of them all. So Kadri to the Montreal Canadiens. I wonder what Josh Goss of Habs Digest would think. Kadri to the Habs in exchange for Alex Newhook, Michael Hage, and Carey Price's contract. So a bit of a cap dump there. The Montreal Canadiens are further ahead than the Flyers are in their rebuild and the Flames. But one of their main weaknesses impending them on the path to contention is their lack of center depth. Behind captain Nick Suzuki, their best center is Kirby Dach. Not an ideal player for those minutes on a contending team, given his injury history and slim point totals. Kadri a big upgrade. Kadri would thereby be extremely desirable for the Habs. The only problem is his contract. At 4 years remaining at $7 million against the salary cap, he would be very difficult to fit under the Habs cap ceiling. Instead of retaining salary and attaching up to $3.5 million to the Flames cap sheet for the next 4 years, they could take on the contract of Carey Price, who cost $10.5 million against the cap, but whose contract expires at the end of next season. So that doesn't really make all that much sense. If you could, advance pay Kadri for 4 years and 1 year, then it makes sense, but otherwise I don't see how the math makes sense there. But of course the Flames can't be expected to give away one of their best forwards and take on a lot of salary cap for nothing. The ask would be at least an A prospect for Kadri alone, and Alex Newhook would free up a center slot in the Habs lineup and replace one on the Flames. Not too bad. Is Newhook exactly what we need? No, he's not the ideal player, honestly. Michael Hage, though, is a young collegiate forward prospect with serious upside and excellent results so far at the University of Michigan. Newhook is a young, respectable third-line center. Do we need another one of those? With team control at the end of his current contract, who could age into reasonable depth as the Flames go throughout the rebuilding process. Michael Hage, I know he was a first-round pick, I think, in last year's draft. I want to say 21st or something overall, something like that. So he really is, the prized piece here for the Flames. Would that be enough to make it make sense? I don't know. It's definitely a more realistic trade proposal than most we see, but I don't know. Maybe if we could throw something in other than Newhook. He's good, don't get me wrong. I like Newhook, but is that really what the Flames want? I'm not too sure about that one, but again, feel free to let me know what you guys think down below. The last one here is the Anaheim Ducks, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, as they used to be. So Kadri to the Ducks in exchange for the rights to Mason McTavish, which is a name that a lot of Flames fans have been saying lately. So over the past few years, the Ducks have changed the kind of players they want on their team from young skill types, like the recently traded Trevor Zegras, to older players with more grit and sandpaper. As a result, many of their younger players have been driven out by this new change, and plenty of veterans with the desired grit have been brought in. One of those younger players with a tenuous relationship with the Ducks is Mason McTavish, a 22-year-old center selected at 3rd overall in the 2021 NHL draft, which is quite a few years ago now, but he still has a lot of potential. And unfortunately for McTavish, he's kind of one of those guys who, was labeled to be unreal and did so good for the World Junior team, and then just hasn't quite lived up to those expectations, but it's been difficult to do that on this Anaheim Ducks team. So McTavish has proven himself to be a legitimate NHL level center with top 6 or even 1C upside. He came to prominence after scoring the golden goal at the 2022 World Junior Championship and scored 22 goals and 52 points last season on the Ducks. Pretty dang good. He managed to be second on the team in scoring after Troy Terry while playing second or even third line minutes. He is currently a restricted free agent. So he honestly has a very high potential still. Kadri, meanwhile, is 12 years McTavish's senior and has the experience that makes any veteran desirable for a team attempting to crawl out of the basement. He scored significantly more goals at 35 and points at 67 than McTavish last season, and his physical, gritty reputation would be extremely appealing to the Ducks' new style. I think most teams honestly would like Kadri. I can't lie about that. The Ducks would be gaining another veteran. The Ducks would be gaining another veteran, the likes of Radko Gudas or Jacob Trouba, and the Flames would be gaining a potential 1C of the future, or at least a worthy competition with Matt Coronato for that spot. Okay, this person clearly not a Flames fan. They don't know that Matt Coronato is not a center, but he could center a line that has Coronato on it. This trade has the most immediate and most total upside for Calgary. Landing a player like McTavish would jumpstart the rebuild and immediately land the Flames back into serious contention for a wild card spot. Yes, I think this one has the best return for Calgary. It's exactly what we're kind of looking for, a young center for the future. But again, would you try and get maybe a little bit more for Kadri, especially if there is salary tension involved? I don't think we would have to in a trade with the Ducks, but hey, Why not? Why not try and go for a little bit more? But so far, I think out of all the trades, this is, kind of the most likely and the one that has the best return for Calgary. Now, to wrap up the article, the author does say this. He says, the Flames do not by any means have to trade Kadri. The qualities he would bring to another team are just as valuable in Calgary, who are also in the rebuilding process and in need of center's grit and leadership. But if he were to get traded, it would have to be to a team that wanted him for his on-ice prowess and not purely out of nostalgia, aka Toronto, and honestly maybe Colorado as well. So there you go. The Flames could trade Kadri. I know a lot of people want the Flames to trade out some of their veterans, including Naz, but again, we'll kind of see what the plan is. I doubt any big trades happen this summer anymore at this point, unless somehow a Rasmus Andersson one does. But the fact that nothing has happened yet, I really don't see anything happening, but who knows? If there is, you know where we'll be. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. And this one goes so well with what we talked about in this video, and it's this comment here from Josh. Josh says, trade Kadri and Coleman right now. I know a lot of the veteran forwards, people are saying trade him. So Kadri, Coleman, also Huberdeau, which is impossible to trade, and Sharangovich is a name that a lot of people want to trade away as well. And it just does make sense because the offense, it's just still too dry even with those guys. So why not try and build for the future? I do understand it. I understand the other side. If we almost made the playoffs, just add someone who can score. Or if Coleman and Sharkey could do what they did 2 seasons ago, we easily could have made the playoffs. But either way, a lot of people do want to trade away those guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.